das haben wir auch. Right. Excellent connection, that looks good. Some music, and just one more thing that I want to try is just one more second. Streamlabs is also fine, that's good. Now, just one thing that I want to do. Jeez, where is that? I have an idea. Yes, here. Okay, I have no idea, so let's get started. Seite verlassen. Oh. Alright, so hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Flutter Explained. So that was our plan, that's fine. Now let's work on that. I think I make a curator list here and make that image in the center of the whole thing. That will look better. Also what I want to do is removing that part here out of that. So what we can do is taking that whole container here that is living inside of the card. I think the whole card can be gone. what is this container? Has a vertical 8. So that is this part. I think the whole container is created by that item builder. Maybe I create for the whole gesture detector here. Here. Till here. I create an own widget for that. So what I will do is I create here my home page folder, and inside of here I move that file and also create a new file called, how do we call it? A container, no, user container widget. Of course, Dart. Dart. Paste everything in, and then we import everything that we need. Sorry, we have a stateless widget here, of course, called user container widget. And this one has to import the material part. We give that whole container inside, and we are done. So now he wants to have the import of the required route, so we can navigate again. And here we have the parameter creator that we want access to, that lives in the creator. So what I will do is I create an instance of that inside of here. Yeah, because we just need it here. So it doesn't make sense to have that here all the time. Yeah, so I bring that into that build function here and create it always here inside. So we have that dependency down. So the only thing that we need is the user and the index now for that. So we create two variables called final index, or what better is I just give the user down, right? So we give a user, and we can make that private, of course, and we can import that library and create a final constructor. So this should do the, now with the final constructor this can't be final, but that's all right. It's anyway final, and with that we can't change it anymore. And here we take just our user instead of the user.index. And I think down here we have it once more. We just take the user. Cool. So that seems already to work, because on the right side we don't, no, it's broken still. So user container widget, and we have to pass by the user, and the user is users of the index. Cool. With that, we have now this user in place. And now what I wanted to, what I said is I want to have that a bit more in the center here, that these two parts are living directly in the center, because we don't have so much content that we want to show. And maybe I make the pictures also way bigger, because now they are very squeezed in this part here. So to do so, I will jump into the user container where everything lives inside. And now we have a bit more overview here. Cool. Category is entertainment. It's also wrong. Let's try it with education is maybe better. Cool. But still the internet is working fine. I'm very happy with that, because I thought that would be a really problem today, because I had a lot of issues there, but it seems to work fine. That's good. So user container widget have we here of these parts, and now we want to center them, right? So let's go to our container here where we have the column, and we start at the moment. This should be the center. And the problem here is that the padding of the column, can we remove that one? Yes, I think so. And also what's interesting is this is the first column that contains the container with a box shadow, and the box shadow can be a const, I assume. No, because I use here the color black, which is bad. So we make color 0.xf and 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. We'll remove the opacity here and just say instead of that we have 33. Cool. Same value. Everything is a const now. Now I can remove that out of here and create a const out of that. So extract a variable. Extract How can I? No. Variable. Jeez. Okay, so it seems not to be. Maybe command. Yeah, here. So extract local variable. Call it box shadow. Why is it box shadow 2? Box shadow is fine, I think. And because it is a const, we can just take the whole thing and create now an own file for that. We underneath lib I do that usually. Then I create here a constants.dart. And this constant.dart will now contain all of our constants that we have. That was a bit too much. This is that, and here we had the constraint, so, and I just want to have this part here. And inside of our constants we have this. We can now make that underline. I'm not happy with that k constructor in front, but some people do it, so I keep it now for that. K is for const in that area. We can just import the material part, and now we have access to that. Now we can clean up even further our container here. We just use that, and we have to import, of course, the constant. Cool. Again, you see the file size getting a bit smaller, and this helps us a lot here in that area. Okay, so but still we have it on top of here, even though that we centered the whole thing. So here seems to be a different problem. The card has a width, and then we have a column inside, and it's main axis alignment. And we have the main axis alignment. So why, if I remove that, what happens? Nothing. That's so weird, because I thought that main axis alignment center would help me here a lot. Okay. What could push that? If this is just 400 or 500? Nothing changes, whatever I change. That's usually not a good symbol. So if we enhance that to 500, what happens now? Okay, it seems that something is weird. I restart the app. I've seen the problem. And I missed the Dart analyzer. Here we have 4 problems. That is the issue. So here this is complaining that it doesn't find the path anymore to the my homepage. And now everything should work much better. So if we jump back here, that is working now. And I have to remove, revert all the changes that we did here without knowing what we did. So now I have to restart the Flutter app, and it should work now again. Okay, now way better. Everything is centered, and as I said, I want to have that image a bit bigger because it's sad that we have such a cool pictures everywhere, but we don't have actually the size of it. And as far as I'm concerned, I thought that we have inside of this blend mode the image URL, and yeah, so that should be the trick. So if I think now we can improve something, where would I start? To increase the image size, we just have to increase the size of the containers, I think. So if I improve that to 300, it maybe already work. Yeah, so the image is getting way bigger. And I think that is exactly what we want, because the images are the main focus here on the whole page, right? So what you can see, our web page is at least looking a bit better. But now the only problem that I see is that here the size is a bit too big for the cards, right? So what we could do is just removing them. Hey guys, how are you doing? So if we make that just a tad smaller, I think that will help a lot. So this is the width. That is the width of the container. I think we can't reduce that much, or else we would... Oh, we can remove that and just add a padding here. I think that makes more sense. So having a padding with an edge inset, dot symmetric, and give it a vertical of, for example, 8. Oh, we have that already. So that didn't help like I expected. Okay. Ah, because it is not part of the card, of course. So what we want to do, that column that we have inside here with these two parts, we want to surround with a nice little padding. So I will do that, give that a padding, and hopefully, yeah, get some space, and I will increase that to a 20. So we have nice little space here, and I think we have also space down here, which we don't use yet. The question is here if we want to remove that or keep it like it is. So I'll make that symmetric and say vertical 20. For now, just, that's horizontal, sorry. Cool, much better. And now what I want to do is that the card don't fill up the full space anymore. How can we do that? It's living in a container, it has a height of 500 already. So that container here is not useful, it doesn't do whatever. I think it doesn't do anything. So I remove that for now. And we can see that the card still uses the whole space of the row. Hey Martab, how you doing? And now, how can we constrain this card here? It lives in a gesture detector, and I have the feeling that this card inside of here lives in this list view. And list view takes always the whole space, right? If we take that. So the scroll direction, can you hear me fine? Oh, I think I'm even 30 seconds behind of you guys. I'm sorry. Didn't check that out in beforehand. Okay, but now we have them in big letters. We have that nice little face. And now what we can do, I want to small that size down to the content itself. List view separated. We have there a padding surrounding it. This is that part. We could give it box constraint. That would be an option. Hey Flo, welcome back. What happens if I center that whole thing? Nothing. Okay. What happens if I center the list view? Also nothing. How can we do that? I think, what can we do? I think we could, a container would help here maybe with a constraint, box constraint. And this gives now, for example, a max height. So for example, 500. Let's see what happens with that. Ah, way better. Okay, so with that box constraint, we say everything that lives inside has only the space of 500 and maximum. So it can't be bigger than that. And I think 500 is a pretty good number with all the images and the names now. So the only thing that we want to do now is to center it here in between. How can we do that? So the problem is most likely that we currently live inside of a scaffold with a padding and a container. But this list view can't live inside of a column because, with the constraint, the container could live in a column, I think. So if we create here and wrap the whole thing in a column, which will take then the whole space of the page, we could then just say that the main, not the main axis the main axis alignment, yes, that it is center. Because with that, it should push now the column that is full space to the center and takes the space that we expect. Did it reload? Reload, this stuff again. Okay, so we start up again the web. And how are you feeling today? Everything fine? Sorry, I was still working a bit with the stream here. One option would maybe to stop the stream, then I can have you more in full in real time, but yeah, I think that's all right for today. So just know that I'm answering maybe a bit late. Lazy Sunday. Cool. The good thing is now we managed it to have that in the center, and you can see the cards have their own border and box shadows and everything. And the scroll behavior is only inside of the cards, not on the top or on the bottom of the whole thing. I think that's pretty good. So it looks already way better. Now what I could do is we could maybe start now with the navigation here, that this username here is changed with the username down here. And what I also want to achieve, what I hopefully can achieve, is that this image comes with a hero animation as a big one here inside. That would be pretty awesome, I think. So where do we start? Let's start with the name, because I think that will be the most easiest way to do. We just jump here in the user container where we have our gesture detector created new. And here we navigate, right? And what we have inside of this user container widget, and because I'm using that very easy navigation rule, we can just pass by the user name, or better the whole user, because we, do I want that? Because we use the same image. I'm not sure, let's try to give the whole user for now and create the constructor inside and jump in. We can see we have now the user here inside. And with that, we have the possibility to access user dot. Wait, that's not so good, because what we want to do is having here, because it's stateless, a final user. And this, of course, has to be a named constructor in that case with this dot user. And we have here the display name. Okay, so whatever avatar we click now on, we get an error. Isn't it great? So invalid member on null display name. See also testing docs. Okay, so the display name seems to be empty, and that could happen if the change has not getting yet accessed. Yeah. So user. So user is user. And with that, everything should be better. So I click here, we get the user here up there. So if we click on Taha, we have that here, and so on and so forth with all the cool people. But now we want to have that this image is moving to the other page. That is one last thing that I would like to add, because I think then we have at least some functionality that would be pretty awesome to see. So we have at the moment the decoration image here. And I don't know if we can surround a decoration image with a hero animation. So let's have a look. So that is the decoration image, and it has to be it. It can't be an, how do you call it? A widget itself. So the box decoration is maybe not the correct part here to have that image part here. Sadly. So let's have a look. We want to have more or less, instead of an image decoration image, we want to have inside of this container here a child with an image, right? So I think we created it yesterday once. So we have a child with an image, and inside we have an image. And this would be, in that case, the decoration image, this network image at the end. And I think, yep, we can just take that, and it will change that to a squared one. So you can see we have now a squared one on top of that, but that's for now pretty okay. Everything else is the same. So we can remove, I think fit cover, we should have the same for the image. And also that purple filter, I don't even know if this is working anyway, so we can remove that, I think. And the alignment can be part of that fit here. I think it should behave exactly the same. Let's say we save. The only difference is now that we have a rectangle or a border instead, a square instead of a circle. To change that, we want to change the shape of this container here. I think there, where is it? Here we have the shape already in circle. That was that part where the image doesn't cover the center slice. Can we have here a shape on that image itself? No, that is not possible. So why is it not possible? That is the network image. Can we add here something? Scales and header? No. Interesting. Can we do something else? I think we have this parameter builder. And as far as I know, that library from that we took a look yesterday, that image part has exactly one of that parts where we can make that circular. So image6 or something. Yes, here we are. And let's have a look into the developer API once more. And let's search for circle. Dynamic masking sounds already pretty good. We can accept 1 or 2 mask ellipse. Okay, it creates an ellipse or a circle mask. So this is existing. So what we can do is we just take this mask parameter and try it out by just adding that mask ellipse. I think the other one is circle, right? So mask is ellipse, fit is crop. Okay, I just have to set the width and the height. I think I do that anyway. So mask is ellipse, and then we just try that. Let's go here and here. And whoop. So, okay, so we go to our parameter builder. And what I want to do is I want to add here another one, string add circle parameter. And inside of here, we do again the check if it is first time, calls false. Then we add parameter character, just to make sure. Then the image URL equals to image URL plus the new value. And at the end, we return the image URL. Voila. And this part can be, of course, a new constant on top, but yeah, why actually not? I think that makes sense. So let's create one. Final string. This is the crop mode. And this, or mask, I think mask. Ellipse mask. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And now we add that here. Of course, we have then to add that to our parameter builder to increase the parameters here even further with an add circle parameter. Let's see if this helps us. And I restart the app. I have to close it again. I'm sorry for that. During that time, I drink a cup of water. Oh, sadly, it didn't work. So let's have a look. We have it still squared, but we want to have it circled, and we have this mask. Do I have also to say this FM part to the image? Will stretch fit an ellipse mask to the bounds of the image. To border the image with a perfect circle, the image must first be cropped to a square and set with the same width and height. Okay, so I thought I did that. Mask, HTTP, blah, 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 all right. So maybe I just have to set the fit. What is it? They set the fit to crop and width and height to something. I think I can do the same. So for that, I will add here 2 new strings. Width is W equals, let's say 500, I think. And also final string height to H500. Is it possible to upload multiple files? No, that is not possible, but as we discussed yesterday, I want to create first everything in multiple files to have a better track that I can work easier. And later, if I put that to CodePen, I will merge it everything together in one big file so that we don't have to import everything. So that is just for now that I can work, and later we bring it back into one file. But good question, thank you. So we have that here, string add width. Let's create here one with width and height. And just make the same thing as always. Check it first, false. We create the add parameter character, image URL equals. That feels so sluggy. I always do the same thing, right? We can, I have a better idea. What we can do instead of always doing this part, we do always exactly the same, right? So that is what me annoys of. So these 4 lines are exactly the same. So you will see that we have to, or you should, if you see something like that, create always a method for that, because it is just bad practice to work like that. So what we would do is syntax area at character 5. Character 5? Okay, I don't know what that means, but what I want to do is I want to extract a method for that, give it a name, for example, add parameter. And this add parameter here will get always a parameter, which is a string. And in that case, it is the blend mode. And this here will be the parameter. And does it return anything? Yeah, I think it returns the image URL. So, and this add parameter will be private, and we don't even have to do this anymore. We can just say return add parameter with blend mode, and this gets a string. And I organize that a little bit because that belongs to the bottom for me at least. So, okay, so I could also add that to here, I think, and then instead of this add parameter character, which is anyway a bit weird, I just called this here inside of here. So we have that whole part and just add that here and remove that function altogether. Because now we make the check here inside, it is everything a bit more readable. And the best thing is, instead of having all these calls, I just call now add parameter and then give the parameter inside, and that should be way better, way cleaner. Add parameter and the ellipse. Good. And now this is getting unused method. Oh no, this function doesn't return anything. Okay, that's the problem. Cool. So very well, everything works like that, I think. And for the add circle parameter, because if we add the circle, it seems that we have to set a width and a height. What I will do is I will call just 3 times that add parameter. So I will call that add parameter that, add parameter with the width, and also add parameter with the height. And the last one I return. Or better, I don't return one of these add parameters, I return the image URL itself. In that case, that is better because it is just better readable. And I'm anyway not sure if it is way better that I have this add method, a parameter method, and then return it straight away. But I think that should do the trick for now. And we go back to the user. Here we work with that, and this gets the circular parameter. But still, it doesn't seem to work. Do we make the call correct? So let's have a look how the image URL looks like. So we have a question mark blend mode, then we have a question mark mask, then a question mark width and a question mark height. That is wrong, right? We, instead of having a question mark, we should have an ampersand. So check if first time we set that to false right away. That is maybe not the best solution for that. So we should add that down here, and it looks way better. Did it solve the problem? I reload the page once more. Now it's directly vice versa, so we can remove that. Ah, and now it's also the blue color here. Ooh, so many stuff has changed. Jeez. All right. So I think we should really remove that blue color, right? That looks awful. So that add blend mode can be done, or is it the add blend mode and the add color? And for that we have that now in gray. Well, so that is the benefit of this builder, right? I have this builder now in place once, and I can just remove or add this function like I want. And this is pretty handsome. And what you also can see is, at the moment, because we only see 3 images, I explained that yesterday once, we only see 3 images, it's also loading just this 3. So if I scroll on the right, you can see it loads, whoops, where is now my terminal? So you can see down here that the image is getting loaded for each item that that comes into the view, and with that you save maybe performance, or you are way faster with that, and also network requests and so on and so forth. Cool. Finally, we have some circles. It's still cut off on the sides. I think that is because the width and height of the user details or of the parameters at the moment is 500, but we have actually a 400 container. Let's try that. No, still not. Let's take a look into the user container. What is the problem here? That's a 300 container. Okay, let's try it with 400. Nah, that's too big. Not good for my eye. So change it down in the parameters here. If you want to use the same methods with the parameter builder, I would highly recommend that you can also do in that add parameter circle to specify the width and the height. So for example, you could have 2 parameters that specifies the number here. So this is not hard-coded. All of them doesn't need to be hard-coded. And maybe it is also a good idea to create a Dart package for that. I think that it would be something that would be useful, because then we can add these parameters very easily, very unique. And I think just for that would be something. Okay, but no matter of that, we can now go to another part. For example, what I think is we created that, but why is it still cut off? That is weird. No, this is not a problem. Okay, some pictures are getting cut off. You see that that is a bit fascinating, that these images, like for example that from Tim, has a very squared one, it's very round, but the other ones are getting cut off. So I think the 300 to 300 seems to be wrong. Woo! It's getting funky here. So the images are not constantly correct. We have an and part, and we have to crop the whole thing, right? So that was one another parameter of this elliptic mask here. So fit is crop. So let's have a look. Final string crop equals to fit equals crop. And we also add that to our add parameter part. Hey, round images. What a fascinating solution. Okay, but still that we have one problem. The box shadow is now around the box, the container, I think, for some images. So for example, this one, there is no shadow at all. There is some shadow. That's fascinating that it behaves so strange. Sometimes it has a shadow, sometimes it doesn't have a shadow. Oh, and that SVG is even better. The SVG is some parts on top, sometimes not. This is one cool thing. Oh well. Okay, but for now we have an image, and what I want to do is I want to remove that print statement, and now we clean up the debug console. And for now what I want to do is first that if we click on one of these images, we get that image on here, and we have the name on top, and I think that's alright then for today already. So let's see. In our user container we have that image, right? And this image can be a hero widget. So we're surrounded with the hero widget, which has a required parameter called tag. And I think that tag is nothing else than a string. No, it's an object even, so it can be anything. What? So let's have a look into the documentation of the hero widget, because I don't remember anymore. So Flutter. Here we have that video, we have some standards, some videos, cool. So hero and tag is photo, and photo is just a string. Okay, so they usually just put in any string, and this has the possibility to specify that hero widget. Okay, so here is a hero animation class. Okay, they create their own transition object. I don't need that for now. I'm pretty happy if we have a hero transition with any key, and that string key here is, I think I just take the user display name for that. Because the hero user display name is currently unique, but I don't know if this is a good solution, because the name could be the same for different parts, right? What could be anything like that? I could create a global key for that, but I think that is a bit too heavy. I think for now that's alright, but usually you want to try to get here something unique, something that is just specified for this user and not for someone else or for any other picture. So now we have one hero here, and now in our user detail view we have the possibility to add at least the body with a container, and inside of that container we have a child where we have our next hero widget, and this hero widget has to have the same tag as we have the other image, right? So where we want to transform it, and give it a child, which is then just the same image for now. So I just take that whole image part, sorry. So that whole image part till down here, and add that here too, just to have a look if it's working like we expect. And the parameter creator of the user detail view, so I think we have to pass that by, or at least the parameter that we get. So for that, we have to go to the user container view. Yes, it can be the URL, exactly. This is what I want to do now. So what I want to do is I take that out of the network image immediately. And because we pass by it up here in the user detail view, I want to create the string avatar URL equals to this. And this avatar URL goes once into the user detail. So URL is this one. We add that parameter. And on the other side, we have the network image down here where we have the avatar URL inside. Okay. Inside of the user detail view, it complains right now because here needs to be the URL. Yeah. He's not happy with URL. Because we don't have specified it up here. So it's final string URL. And this is of course not an own URL down here. It is this.url. And we pass that here. We don't need that comma. And still something is red. Here's a colon. Cool. So let's see. And you can see maybe, but it's very fast at the moment. If we click it, the image don't goes away from the screen. So we directly see where the image goes and it sticks with the animation. So that is pretty cool, I think. And the good thing is now we can also have this image everywhere. So I think if we make that a bit bigger, we see it better because we go to the left. So you can see that image is flying around. And this is usually what a lot of users want, or a lot of developers, because this effect is wow. Okay, but it seems that the SVG behaves a bit crazy for that. So it's just going somewhere. Okay, I see. So SVG is really something special. And also this one is interesting. But I think because this is not a PNG, so it has no, it is getting cropped, but it's not getting cropped in a PNG way. Maybe what I can do in the URL is saying that this has to be a PNG, that all the images that we receive is a PNG. I don't think that SVG would work, and anyway it destroys more than it helps, so maybe this is not a good way. But I think if we make everything to a PNG, that would help a lot. So back to our images. I think here was the possibility of FM, and I think FM will be the file type that we can receive. Let's have a look. The output format to convert the image to. So FM is the output format, perfect. So what I can try is just saying FM and say PNG, because PNG has no background color. So we have this transparency behind, which I really would like to see. Are there any questions so far? I'm speaking a lot. I'm talking in front of myself more or less. So what do you think? Are you happy with that so far? Do you have any questions? No? All right. So what I will do is just working forward if there are no questions. And let's see what we have to do. Again, back to our beloved parameter creator. And what I want to do now is I add the last string, which is add image. No, add. That is the output format, right? So output format, and we have to, or we want to return add parameter with this, not with the URL, with I think the name was FM and then equals to PNG. And till now we have everywhere consts for that. So let's see if I can construct it out of here. Yep, looks good. Oops. We take that parameter up here. Final string. Give that a closed. So we make that private again. And of course the name is wrong. We don't have a parameter. What was the naming to change a variable again? That was a rename symbol. Yes. So we have here, instead of a parameter, we have the file type. PNG output format. Good. Now we still have some progress that we can cancel for now. And if we start that up again, no, still not. Unfortunate. I really thought that would help with that circle. It's interesting that there is sometimes some images has these parts and sometimes not. And this is also still a SVG, so still don't behave correctly. Huh. Fascinating. Do we get actually a PNG back? That is a good question. How would I see that? I think if I just print that URL here, I would see that or. So if we go here and say print URL and I just navigate, we can see it as a JPEG. But we don't add the parameter yet, of course. So back to our add stuff and we add our output format. And now we have the nice circles around it. And yeah, we see everywhere the shadows and but the SVG still makes problems. Okay, but still, the most of the stuff is working fine. And I think that's all right. Is there any explanation why the PNG is not possible for some? is a lossless format. It does support transparency. It does not support animations. PNG 8, 8-bit parameters. Okay. Oh, interesting. You can have a WebP part. WebP is a very new format. Thank you, Mahtab. No, I didn't. Yep. Okay, but for the most of the images it works very well. But now what do we do with this new part here? I think that hero animation is already pretty cool. We have the images in place. And that's already a very good part. Maybe this image could be also centered here. And maybe what we also could do, but this is maybe too much, but let's see. What we could do is instead having different filters for that. So that we have this filter on the image here like that. And if we go here inside, we change the filter or something. But I think for now, I'm happy with that. Wow. Okay. So let's go. Let's center that one. We stop with the printing. I think that doesn't help anyone. Here in the build function, I think somewhere I printed. Yep. Here. Clean that. All right. What I wanted to do. Yeah, so the detail page. We are happy with that, and we can now just do the detail page a bit better, just to center that in the middle. And I think that's it for the center page for now. So we go here and having the user container widget, which contains our image. No, that is for the user detail page. And here we just want to center that container. Yes, so just center that. And I think we don't even need a container here. Can you change the size of image in user page with scrolling up? You mean with a sliver or something? Yeah, I can do that. So you mean if I scrolling up, but the problem is that the page at the moment has way too less content to do something like that. So there is nothing to scroll to, so there will be no sliver effect at the end. And I think that will not help. I think we can do that in a later challenge somewhere where we have more content inside of our page, and then we can do and try something like that. I think that is pretty awesome that we have these hero animations all everywhere. We jump into the middle, and that's at least something that makes it a bit more special about the whole thing. What else could we use? We have these hero animation now. We have that in place. What I think is, why do we have so many time to scroll? I mean, we have a lot of space in our web part, right? So what we could do is having two columns, right? So, one column with two rows of images, or with two list views. That would be maybe a good opportunity. So what I could do inside of the home view is we have that column that contains a container with that box constraint. So this would be one row. And here in this column, but I don't want to have a list view then inside. How could we do that? This is the card widget. We could give the cards a container with a box constraint. But I think the list view. No, because I have because the list view here is in a scroll direction horizontal. Oh, that is also something that we can do. Which page transition? Let's have a look. So the page transition, where are we? We have the user details, user container widgets. Here. So we created material page route here. Let's see if we can do that with the material page route. So we jump into the API of Flutter. So and say we want to have a page transition material page route. And let's see, here we go. So for that we need a page router builder, it seems. Animate a page route transition tween or curve object, okay. To help, page provides an animation object. Okay, it can be used tween curve, that's fine. Setup page tween curve tweens, alright. Navigator push, create route. And what does create route? It creates a page route builder. So it is custom builder. So we don't use the material page route for that. We will use this page route builder, or at least this is one option. And the second thing would be with a tween. And the last thing is use an animated widget, use a curve tween. Okay, combine. Okay, and this is all together then at the end. So create route would have a page route builder with a transition builder. Okay, it looks pretty straightforward, right? So if I click that, we can then have every transformation that we want to have. So if I do that and we have this create route, we can just do that in our example, right? So instead of having this material page route, I think the context sticks the same, right? So if I'm looking here, yeah, so context sticks the same for off. Navigator, why is there a navigator off context? That looks weird. Push, create route. Do I have to... Up. So, yeah. So what he says is that we have to take the navigator and then we push something and we don't have to set the context here anymore. But I think that makes no difference. So that is, it's like tomato, tomato. So we push the context, and instead of having the material page route, what we would have here is to create a page route. So, and we would have this part can be gone, and we create here a method for that. Oops, we need that, and we return null for now, just to make it green and sortable. And now the application will not work if I click something, right? So because we don't return something here, and it's also broken because it can't be null here at that part. But now if we go back to our solution that we seen here in that interactive example, we have this create route, which is exactly what we want. So that we use the page router builder here. Jump here, page route builder. And here we have different parameters, like for example, page builder. And as you can see here in the documentation immediately is that we have a widget that we have to return. We receive an animation double, or better, 2 animation doubles. And I will use that for now and create the method for that. So it is context, it is animation 1s and animation 2. Yep. So this was what I saw, right? So if I jump here, we get that route page builder, and we see we return a widget, we have an animation and secondary animation. And also here we have the build transition. So route transition builder would be also an option. Signature for function that builds route transition used in page route builder and show general dialog. Okay, and where is the difference? We would have an animation, secondary animation, and a child. Okay, most likely the child would be what we display then. I can try that, of course. Let's give it a try for now. So we have that page builder now in place. And what would be the else part? The transition builder. And the transition builder would be we have to set both of them. Okay, so the page builder would be what we return. There we navigate to the second page. So for us, that would be the part where we call the user detail view here. So we can remove all of that, get rid of that, add this one. Whoop, where is it? This here, and get rid of all of that and add this ones here. And the avatar URL has to be passed to that create route. So we have the avatar URL, which is a string, and this avatar URL comes here inside. Cool. We jump to the create, and here we have the avatar URL, and everything should work now. Okay, so for now, we fixed already the navigation again. So if we take a look into here, into our app, and we click one of the images, we get an error because must never return null. So the build function must never return null. To return an empty space that causes the build available room, return container. Okay. So somehow it returns null, but most likely it's anyway broken because it starts to sync again. So kill the web, reopen the web, give it a second. But it's interesting because the page builder comes from that. That's pretty cool. It's an elegant solution. I like that. So, and you can see the navigation already works again. The hero function didn't change, so the hero animation still work. That's good. But you can see the animation has gone completely, right? We stick now with the same page, which is also not too bad, but it looks like everything gets fade away. Hey, Gyrish. So you can see the bars getting just dropped, and it looks not so nice. So, and Raj, you wanted to have a nice fade animation. If it's okay for you, I will start with this animation that we have here, just to have an example that we can directly use. And then we change that and modify that in the way that we want to use it at the end. So the transition builder we use here, and we go here. So we have to also pass here the transition builder inside. Whoops, that is the transition duration. That is the next part that we can do. Animation and animation second. And we do something here. Is that not correct? Animations. The child is missing. The child is missing. And can't leave the child away. Also here we start with returning null, because if we return null, at least our code is green, even though that here is everything broken. Okay, so but what is actually the plan here? We want to take that parts here. So we add these beginning, end, and curve for now. And if you have never worked with animations, or if you never worked so much with animations, what you can see here is the beginning of the offset. So that is the beginning of the animation, I assume, the end of the animation. And if you take a look at the curve, I really love the animation documentation of Flutter, because they created for each curve that there is for the animations that they have in their pipeline, these amazing videos. And I don't know if you have ever watched them, but it is just amazing. So you can see how the animation will behave in different parts. So translation, rotation, scale, and opacity. And you see them 1 second, I think, or 2 seconds is every video long. But you can see how the object will behave inside, right? So that is pretty awesome for these curves. And there are tons and tons of curves, so you can try everything around from bounce in, bounce out, jump in, ease out, ease in, and so on, whatever you have in mind. And even though if your curve that you want to create for your transition is not here, you can create your own. So also that is of course possible. And you can see it is just a cubic with different numbers. So the numbers are the steps of the curve. Okay, but I don't want to go too deep in that. Yes, so the offsets. The left one is always the x-axis, and the left one is always the y-axis. So if we jump here inside, we can see the double dx and double dy. And because I didn't start with the animation yet, the beginning is not used. So for that, we will take the other parts also inside. Then I can explain it a bit better. So, and now we have here the tween. So, what is a tween? a tween is something that happens in between two states. So for example, if you have looked at the video where I created some animations with an animation controller always changes a value from 0 to 1 in a certain amount of time. And the animation controller keeps track of these time. Yeah, so it changes the value for the frames in these different timings. If I knew that I will do today a bit more in animations, I would maybe create an animation for you to display that a bit better. But tween is a helper for that. So if you have a tween, you don't have to create your own animation controller. So if we jump here inside, you can see it is already animatable. So you don't have necessarily to create your own animation controller and so on. And as you can see now, we have a begin here. And we begin at the offset 0, 0 and 1, 0. And 0, 0 stands for left top, the topmost part. And the end will be offset 0. And offset 0 is just 0, 0, 0, 0. So if we jump here inside, you can see that it is just on these parts 0, 0. So what would that mean? If you have an offset, for example, of that box shadow, if you remember, then the offset would be from 0, 0, 0, 0, the left top corner, or better, directly in the center in that case, because the offset is taken in that area relative to the image. If you take it from a square, like for example this card, offset 0, 0 will always begin on the top left corner. Sorry. And if you have, for example, the DX part enhanced, so for example, we would add there 5 or something, it would go 5 logical pixels from this corner to the right. And if you add also 5 logical pixels to the Y-axis, it's going down. So it is like in math, right, with the X and Y axis. I think everyone knows that, right? So it is exactly this. The only problem here is that you have to turn this upside down and yeah, but this will still work. Or am I right even? That is a good question. I think I'm even wrong. Or let's have a look. I'm not pretty sure right now. So where do we have these offset right now for this tween? So we chain a curve animation where we curve the whole thing. That is all right. So that chain will just add this part to it, I think. Returns an animatable whose value is determined by first evaluating the given parent and evaluating this object. Okay, so this will be afterwards. And now instead of a slide animation, we said we want to have a, what was it? A fade animation. Or a fade transition. So, and let's see what the parts here are. So at the moment we want to position it with the animation.drive tween. So the animation drive takes responsibility of the animation and how it starts and how it behaves. And I think we can't use that because we had before with the slide transition, the start and the ending defined with the offset. But I think here in that area with that fade transition, so we have different values. For example, the opacity. And we can use nearly the same thing. The problem is now we don't need an offset. We have to set the opacity. And the opacity is also again a value between I think 0 and 1. So 0.5 is 50% of invisible. So what we have to do is the beginning of the tween would be just 1. And the end of, 0, and the end of the transition would be 1. Let's see if I'm right, if this works. So instead of having a position, we would, let's have that, but we would have an animation.drive with the tween. And why is it red? Because double. Okay, yeah, sure. Because that is at the moment an integer and we want to have it as a double. So now it's getting green. So to avoid these problems, you could also just add here the double part and you can declare it. So if you don't have that, you see it's getting immediately red. Okay, the curve tween, I just leave that for now with an ease. I think that's fine. And let's see if our animation actually works. So that is pretty fast, but you can see everything fades out now. What I can do to have here more duration is I can add that to, is it here where I can add the duration? I'm not sure. Where was the duration? Tween double chain. Was it not on the tween? Curve tween. Or is it even here on that? No. I thought I had that seconds ago. How can I increase the timings of this tween here? Tween has a begin and an ending, that's for sure. That's not too difficult. It has the timings, yeah, that's all right. But how can I increase the timings? Evaluate during string animate returns a new animation that is driven. No, that is not the part. Chain, evaluate, transform. Transition builder. Can I? Let's take the documentation again. So if we take a look here, is there someone with the transition builder? Increase duration. Let's see what they say. Ah, here it is. The fade transition opacity, child transition duration. Okay, maybe the fade transition. No, doesn't look like that is correct. Let's have a look. So we have the animation, geez. New fade transition, opacity animation, okay. Page, on the page route builder. That was the one. I knew that I saw it already, but I was not sure where it is. So it is on the page route builder. And I think here inside, so this one can have the duration. Yes, so that has a duration object. For example, give it some seconds. Let's have 1 second and just have a look how it behaves now. You can see it's getting very smooth, very slowly, and it moves all the parts here away. Does it solve your problem, or is it correct like you wanted or what you expected? Or do you have any questions to that? I still don't like that SVG. It's so cool how it's animating, but it's so... Sorry. Okay. So we have the tween, we have the animation, we have changed the duration, everything is working fine. What is the next step that we can do? I think we have that in part, and that's all right. We have these. I think we could fix the SVG somehow, but to be honest, that is so weird. Actually, I would assume that it's just working. So. But with that, we have some animations in place. I think for the big scale, it looks also pretty awesome. And with that 1 second transition, I think that's perfectly fine. Yeah. What do you think? Should we wrap it up with that? I think it looks pretty good. Or do we want to make that 2 columns part? I think that 2 columns part would be also awesome, but I'm not sure yet. I think to have the pictures in one place is also good. Good. So what I will do now next, because as Mahtab already said correctly, all these files are not are way too much to work on CodePen. So what we have to do now is in all of these parts, without the imports, because we can't use them, we have to add here and in one big file at the end. So we do that because we have everything in classes. That should work fine. So, and we get that part. I just highly hope that we don't have anything in the from some other packages, but I'm pretty sure that we didn't import anything that doesn't work. So that is that. We have the user details. We have this part here with the user container widget. Move that to the main file. And this was that, the my homepage view, and also this without the imports, very important. Bring them to the main file. Don't worry that everything gets red right now, it's getting green later again. At least I hope so. So the main, that is the user, and also this one is here. So now everything should be green and a very large file. And the only thing that we import is actually the material Dart package. So that is pretty neat. So we close the application once more. We don't have any import. I start the application again, just to see if everything still works the same. Yeah, that's pretty good, I think. I'm happy with that solution. That should work. Whoops. So, yes, so all of this stuff is still working. We reload the parts that we need. And now what I will do is creating our CodePen file. So we go and copy all this stuff. I create for that a Chrome part. Let's see if I have myself logged in into CodePen here. Nope, of course not. Then we do it with Firefox. Perfect. And we create our from template, Flutter template that I created already. I don't know if you are aware. If you just enter, I think codepen.io/Flutter, you jump directly on this page and you can try these templates here out. Because that was in the first time the problem with me when I didn't have these nice little templates down here that I created for myself. So I can directly create it here. So we add everything here inside. It takes a while to do. We save the whole thing. We give it a good name. For example, what was it? The user. Oh, I see the Flutter demo page up there on top. I don't like that. Who are we? This is the user challenge. User uploaded image challenge. Uploaded image challenge. And also here we can have that as a user challenge. So you can see developing in CodePen itself is not very fun, right? It's everywhere blinking, it's always repeating, go up and down. It's not make so much fun. So I highly recommend to do it in your Visual Studio IDE. Okay, so uploaded image challenge. And what we also have to do, we save it once more. We go back once more to CodePen. Down here is the challenge part. And we have the images. And saying handling user uploaded images. And we can now add this flag here. CPC user uploaded images. There you can see all the nice little ones that they have made with HTML and CSS. Maybe the next time we can have more in the design part. I think that's pretty cool. But now let's have here and add these texts. So do we have to add another one, or is that the only one here? I'm not sure. No, I think that's the only one. Yeah, cool. And I think I will add also a Flutter to the pen title. Cool. Explain what happens on that part. So it's a hero animation on transition and with fade transition. User list to user details page. Save. And I think we can also add somewhere a screenshot, but this is for pro users too only, sadly. Okay. Hey Taha, how you doing? Said that is this. Space or tabs, I don't mind. You can save that. Format on save is always a good thing, but I don't mind now. And I think that should be the trick. We can format. That's it. So one last time, you see CodePen, whoops. Wow, that music, crazy. Good. So what we can see is there everything is working. We see all the parts. We have up here our nice little headline. We can click on the user. We see the name of the user. We see the image of the user. And that works quite well. So we have the animations from wherever we click. The image is focusing in. We have the 1 second transition between 2 pages. And I think that's pretty awesome. I see right now that somehow the SVG is not getting loaded, at least not in CodePen. Quite good, thank you for asking. Sorry, today we have like 30 seconds delay in between everything. Wow, what happened? Okay, so to my dashboard, I think here are my user uploaded image challenge. That should be that. And now we should be able to see it also in every other browser where we are not logged in into CodePen. That is the awesome thing for CodePens. So if I'm going here, I'm navigating to that. We have now the option to see everything, and if I click now one of the elements, we can see them flying. Oh, they are working good. I'm not sure if the internet is still good, but it's better than this morning. Yep. Maybe a good question for Taha. Have you ever seen this, that the SVG getting hidden somewhere? If you click on that and it's animated somewhere, it's just gone. It's lost somewhere. It's quite a funny problem. But maybe for that there is already somewhere a solution. Or I lose that somewhere in between. That is also possible. But if I take a look into the user details view, we don't do anything here, right? It's just an image, cover. The image is the URL. And I think we have that also in that widget here, right? Yes, so there is no difference. I don't know where the error comes from, why it's just hidden. Maybe this is an issue worth. I have to take a look here. Okay. But I think that's it. So we managed to create a transition. We added the hero animation for the pages. We have images from PNG style now all the way. We have nice little cards for them. And we have a list view that loads the images just if they are coming into the view. And I think that's it for today. We managed it. I think the challenge has been done. So if you have any questions to the whole thing, please write me down in the comments below, write me in the chat, give me information about Twitter. Thank you very much for joining me, these two nice little challenges. It was an amazing adventure, and it was very nice to make a stream with you guys. I think we make that now more often, at least I hope so. And there is nothing else to say than thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day, right, till Tuesday. See ya! Thank you, Tara. I'm quite happy with the solution. I think it's okay for that for that short time that we had, more or less.